DeMeco is an excellent defensive coordinator who had an excellent season. And it was his first season, and we should expect him to improve the way Robert Saleh did. But I'm going to say a but and be a little negative here. After watching what he did against the Rams, I'm not going to say he was bad, but I don't think he did anything special. And I'll say what I mean. He essentially rushed for all game. That's it. And I understand that the numbers say you don't blitz Stafford on 3rd and 12, on 3rd and 9. I mean, he really didn't ever, not ever, very rarely did he blitz. And when he did blitz, the blitzes were poorly executed and
yes,
I felt poorly designed.
They were terrible blitzes, yes.
Yeah. And to me, like Saleh, and this was by
he also did delayed blitzes on a guy who has fast route runners. That's actually really stupid when you have Cooper Kupp and OBJ who are such polished route runners, and you're gonna do a delayed blitz so that they can get to the first down marker, and then even still, so they were literally like letting guys get off the line by 5 yards before they actually turned their motor on. Right. They were doing this very nifty kind of like this very intricate looking blitz where they would cut inside, they would jump to the outside, and then they would take off. That does not work.
No, and they've given up these quick throws by playing off coverage with these. The blitzes weren't really like there was one where you had Fred Warner blitz into the A gap, and I think it was Arden Key kind of stunt over to the other A gap, and then Eric Armstead's supposed to come all the way around and get the B gap. He trips and falls, and Stafford runs for like 15 yards on 3rd and 12. Like, what the hell is? I want to say is
Alshire and Fred Warner on that blitz because Alshire has the strength to get through the line and enough athleticism to pursue, but Fred Warner should have been in coverage. He should have been in coverage with his sideline to sideline tackling abilities, and then that run doesn't go for 12 yards.
Sure. Also, but what I want to say with DeMeco, so essentially what he did was rush for and call zone coverage most of the time with a little bit of man coverage here, soft off coverage. And it was not enough. There was no change-ups. It was very, very vanilla. And as soon as his pass rush got a little tired, it was over.
Well, the number one knock we had on DeMeco Ryans through the first half of the season was his inability to adapt. But I think he got better, as one would expect for a first-year defensive coordinator. Remember, we never lost hope in him. We always said, this is his first year, but he came back to haunt them in the championship game. I really think that OBJ and Cooper Kupp's name alone had DeMeco Ryans running a little bit scared. He had too much respect for them. He wouldn't let his players beat the Rams. He wanted to play it safe so that the statistics would seem like it favored most likely getting a victory, if that makes sense to you. I really think that he was so focused on Cooper Kupp and OBJ. That's why you got that four-man front the whole game. He was afraid if he blitzed that they would throw a 60-yard bomb or something. That's what it comes down to.
But I mean, when you're at 3rd and 12, 3rd and 9,
it's an obvious blitz, and it should just be obvious. 6 people up front, go. It should be a
the whole idea with the blitz is you're forcing the hot route, which is a quick throw. You're forcing a throw in front of the marker. Then you rally, make the tackle, you're off the field. You don't blitz on 3rd and 12. You get Matthew Stafford taking a 5-step drop and hitting comeback routes on the outside all freaking day on your corners who are bailing out. I mean, it's not that hard. Tennessee did the same damn thing with A.J. Brown. And I'm just saying, look, I'm not trying to say DeMeco is overrated or not that good, but this is his offseason assignment. Pressure package.
There's absolutely tape on him. And I guarantee you that Sean McVay literally looked at where the Niners got beaten by teams that they should not have gotten beaten by.
Right.
The Rams should never be able to beat the 49ers. That's why they had a 10-point lead. That's why they were in cruise control at the half.
Right.
But he literally said, what is it that people do? And that is they take advantage of this soft zone coverage. And hey, people, 10-yard passes are first downs. And if you want to take that all day and you want to give that to me all day, I'll take it.
That's what A.J. Brown took, right? That's what A.J. Brown took left and right in Tennessee, and that's what Odell Beckham took. I mean, when it wasn't Cooper Kupp carving him up, it was 15-yard completion to Odell Beckham.
Posted over 100 yards. He's the receiver of the game as far as stats go. Absolutely.
If he wasn't there, the Niners could have done to Cooper Kupp what they did to Devontae Adams. But the difference between the Rams and the Packers is that the Rams have Odell Beckham Jr. and the Packers have no number 2. Yeah, so DeMeco had to deal with 2 legit threats and couldn't do it. And now I want to give him credit, like maybe give him some corners and he would be in better positions, but still, like, you can't just rush for the whole game. And, it was very conservative.
The only thing that DeMeco Ryans can do is learn from this. And I the blitzing is something that any defensive coordinator should have seen. Absolutely. He should have seen it. And unfortunately, as brilliant as I think DeMeco Ryans is, and I think he's destined to be a great head coach, I hope he gets a good team. And I think he's going to be great for us next year, the same as he was this year, is that next year, or this coming season, I should say, he'll have more experience. And and that will show. And I mean, he's going to have a whole offseason to sit there and look at the tape, and I'm sure he'll see it. I'm sure he will. And he just needs to do it.
A lot of people questioned Robert Saleh after 2019. Remember, I was saying Robert Saleh is really good. Like everyone says now with DeMeco. DeMeco's really good. I was saying that about Saleh in 2019, but a lot of people said, is it Saleh or is it Bosa and Buckner and Armstead? Is it just that he has this incredible four-man pass rush and any defensive coordinator is going to look good if you have that? Well, that was a valid thing to say. Saleh proved himself the next year. He proved himself the next year without Bosa. And you know what? DeMeco did well at times without Bosa this year as well. But that's the same critique. Man, your four-man pass rush lost a little juice in the NFC Championship game, and everything fell apart. Where are you? Where's your pressure package? Where's your five-man rush? Where's K'Wan Williams blitzing? Like, anytime Robert Saleh was in a jam, he had K'Wan Williams blitzing unblocked. Like, there were things he could do. Anyway, so that's his offseason project. And what I want to say about DeMeco is anytime he gives himself a project, well, we're getting beat by these chips, I got to figure out, he figures it out. So I don't really have an issue. I don't
doubt him. Saying, you know, I don't doubt him. It gets blown up and it's in the spotlight because, I mean, this is not on DeMeco Ryans, but from a defensive player standpoint, the lack of blitz packaging cost us a Super Bowl berth. And that's what it looks like. And it's true to a certain point. There are a lot of people are responsible for the loss in that game, but it's just like the Niners rely on their defense, which did not play well enough in that championship game. And what you say is very valid. And DeMeco has a lot of responsibility for why we did not advance. But again, it's not because he's a bad coach. It's just because he was inexperienced.
No, he's a good coach.
And
he's actually a very good coach.
Little bit of lack of adaptability that is to be expected in his first year. And I think like Saleh, he takes a light years leap forward next year. And that's saying a lot.
Here's a big difference and a big reason why the Niners lost the NFC Championship game. Third down. The 49ers offense was 3 for 9. That's 33%. That's not good. The Rams against an elite 49ers defense, 11 for 18, 61%. That's not good. And that's for these reasons. You're playing very, very soft. You're basically, even on third down, you're saying, we don't want to give up the touchdown, take the first down. Really? That's how they play. And it's like they can get away with it because if you do that enough, you're going to get the sack with this pass rush. But it didn't happen in the fourth quarter because you're exhausted, just like in the Super Bowl. So
exactly. And honestly, their defense switched to what I would want to see, perhaps in a 3-score lead, but with a small 2-score lead of 10 points. They really just took their foot off the gas and lost their swagger. They really did. Did not play true to their identity.
Big Tone 707 says, if you guys want to trade Warner after one subpar season, weird. You got to really going to put your trust in Arden Key to be consistent. I wouldn't trade Fred Warner. I want him on this team next year, but I'm monitoring him. Armstead. I would trade Armstead now, but I would not trade Warner. He's still he's at $8 million next year.
That's exactly what we said. Because I mean, maybe this is a rhetoric question or something like that. Because we were saying that
if you bring up the topic of maybe even considering trading a guy in the future, people are like, "Oh, wow, okay. He wants to trade Warner."
I'm learning here. No, but with Fred Warner, I think the biggest to make it very quick, the point we are making with Warner is that we are concerned that what is the strength of his game actually became his weakness.
Yes.
And so we want, and that's what we said. Let's see in the offseason what he does.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just a blip. Random tidbit. Debo and Kendrick Bourne no longer follow each other on Instagram. BTW my prediction. How do you know that? How do people know that?
This person is good at social media.
Wow.
And I mean, that's awesome. I have Instagram. So like, send me this kind of information if you would. Kendrick Bourne said some unnecessary and childish things about the 49ers this year. Seriously. When I transferred commands in the Navy, I didn't come in and say, yeah, I hate those guys. I'd be like, well, I'm really thankful because, that was my first command and I'll never forget that. Leave it at that. Even if I didn't like them. That's Kendrick Bourne is childish. He really is. And that's too bad because I liked Kendrick Bourne a lot. I found him very humble. I found him to play bigger than his body. I found him to just be a guy that was committed to, getting better. But Kendrick Bourne said something to the effect of basically that the Patriots culture is better than the 49ers culture.
Amtod 99, he's just he Anyway, Amton99 says random tidbit. Debo and Kendrick. Oh, we already did this. No, the other part is my prediction is Kyler to Green Bay due to the Pro Bowl connections. Kyler to Green Bay due to the Pro Bowl connections? Pro Bowl connections.
What? I think they're talking about the drama of as in like the stats that were put up in the Pro Bowl. I think that's what he's referring to there.
I see. Last donation, then the show is over. You got to pick your poison. D couldn't stop vertical routes and deep coverage. We stopped it with soft shell coverage. That's true. That's the adjustment. Right. RD is why we were even in the game. Whole team overachieved. Yeah, but again, watching that film yesterday, like Skowronek dropped a touchdown pass. The defense,
they could have roasted us in that game.
Yeah, the defense really wasn't as great as the 17 points that it gave, the 20 points that it could have easily been 27.
Coach here is correct. I think one of the points underlying that second to last sentence there is that the offense did not play well. They were not lights out.
No. The defense was definitely better than the offense. I want to make that real clear. The defense was definitely better than the offense. I'm just saying it's not like the defense is best in the league. Nothing to talk about. I think there's things to talk about. Their D-line is really phenomenal.
Yes.
Really is. And
that's why we want to keep.
Yeah. But I do think DeMeco made the right adjustment given the cornerbacks he was presented with. I still think you got to find ways to, I mean, if you can't get pressure with 4, you got to bring 5. You have to. You can't just say, well,
if it's not
Patrick's a little tired, but we got to keep rushing 4 because of you got to get pressure.
Well, the other thing is it's the mark of a good coach, an experienced coach in this say, because DeMeco's a good coach, but he needs more experience, which I think he has now.
The next step.
I would say this. As a first-year defensive coordinator, he got more practice than most first-year defensive coordinators ever have. I would love to see the statistic on first-year defensive coordinators that have gone to the championship game and had a 10-point lead going into the final quarter. It would be very interesting to know how many defensive coordinators could get their defense that far. I think that is a really big feather in DeMeco's cap.
Hold on, I got to stop this. This happens too much, and this is wrong. I know on the internet you say something. I predicted the Niners would win the game. Oh, you called. Sorry, I don't read very well anymore.
He did.
I predicted 17-13 Rams. The Rams got 20. Rams left tons of points on the field. They did. I'm sorry. I need to read better, reading comprehension.
I think the Niners left points on the field as well. Don't forget that Jimmy Garoppolo early in the game, which might have just set the tone the whole game, missed Kittle wide open for a touchdown on a crossing route. Like literally, he was stride for stride with the defensive back. He's not going to tackle him.
Dude says don't trade Warner. Marco. Even if you bring it up, people get there. It's like, oh my God, they're not going to trade Warner. All right, don't worry about it.
Marco, we won't trade Warner.
I promise that I will not trade Fred Warner. Sybilla and I will never do that.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for watching the show. Even in early February when really nothing is going on, we're all sitting here waiting for Jimmy Garoppolo to get traded. It could happen today. It could happen next month.
There's more news in the offseason when there's nothing to talk about than there is after a game. It's great. That's what I love about football. It's different than baseball, is that there's drama 365 days a year. There's something for us to talk about every single day.